School was quite terrifying, too, the first time I could go to school. There's another. My father said to me, there'll be a boy in a school who'll want to hit you. First day in school, somebody will want to hit you. Now, that is a school bully. Now, all school bullies are cowards. And he'll only hit you if he thinks that you're frightened of him. So if you hit him first, he will run away. I was expelled in 2 weeks for being a school bully. Every new kid who came on, I used to beat the shit out of him. Do you actually know the most stressful place for the average person is the home? You'd actually think, in reality, that the home is the one place where you're safe from the tribulations of life. But it's the opposite. All even kind of petty incidents take on their own life in their own home. Now, I had two brothers who snored. Now, if people don't know about snoring, that's okay, but anybody who knows and lives with a snorer knows exactly how stressful it is. It is extraordinary. Extraordinary thing about snorers never have any trouble going to sleep. There is no such thing as an insomniac snorer. They get into bed, good night, gone. Now, it takes me probably 30 or 40 minutes to go to sleep, always has. So, as far as my two brothers were concerned, we used to share the same room. I would go to bed an hour or an hour and a half earlier than the other two to try and get to sleep before they came up the room. And I'd be up there half an hour and I'd still be awake. And I'd be thinking, gosh, I've only got an hour. Oh, shit, it's 42 minutes. Oh, 18. Oh, my goodness, 7. Oh, shit, they're on the stairs. There's another night gone. And they'd arrive in, and I'd gone. Now, the two of them, they didn't snore the same. It's an extraordinary thing, they didn't snore. Brother Peter had a snore like, because old people are individual and snore. He had a... And to listen to that, Jesus, all night. And I'd shove him at the time, and he'd go. And I mean, you start to play games with it. I used to cut out bits of paper and lick them and stick them to his lips. And he'd go, and they'd all go, oh. And then he'd go, I used to get bath bubbles and rub it all around his mouth, hoping that a great balloon would come out one day, and he'd disappear out the window. Would have been lovely. John, my other brother, had what I would call a long single snore. He would start. Then it would stop. And you would expect a gush of air to come out. Nothing. Not a sound. Within 2 seconds, he'd start again. I think he had a leak in his arse. I don't know what it was. Taking it in, and I was going out. It's not only people that cause stress, but there are places that cause stress, things that cause stress. The bathroom, I suppose, is perhaps one of the most stressful places. Toothpaste tubes. Have you ever come across toothpaste tubes? People don't put the top on, and it congeals, and it just sits there, and you're the one that gets it, and you're going, oh, Christ. And suddenly, in the mirror, there's got a big lodge on it. The soap. You've seen a soap in a pool of water. How about that for stressfulness in the house? Looks like a decomposing scallop. Or the stinking flannel, which goes very beautifully with the damp, soggy towel which is thrown in the corner. Have you ever sat on the loo reading the paper? And the blind suddenly goes... One of the things I love to do, I love to bath. I mean, I actually do love to bathe. I love to languish is the word. I really do. I just love to sit in a bath. I listen to music, and I kind of peruse, I think about material, I think about gags, I think about life in general, and it's wonderful. And I never get out of a bath. I don't actually want to leap out of a bath when I'm finished. I like to kind of let it hang on. What I do, I get the plug with my toes, and I pull it out with my toes. And then as the water recedes, I slightly like to go down with it. Just to see how long I can stay there without... The worst thing in the world is to pull the plug, and nothing happens. It's like a kind of stagnant pool with me in it. The water doesn't go anywhere. And I have to go to the plug hole. And you go... Oh, Jesus Christ. A wadge of hair. Have you come across that? And it's never yours. It's always everybody else's. And it comes out like the monster from the deep. You go, and you always try to flick it into the lavatory. You always, and you miss. It hits the wall. What is it? I mean, why can't the young, in a sense, why can't the young people in the world, why can't they clean the bath when they finish it? They can't even pick up a hint. I said to my son a couple of years ago, I said, you know, we have one of the oldest baths in the world. He said, really? How do you know, Daddy? I said, I count the rings. And I cleaned the bath. I cleaned the bath. I mean, I didn't when I was young, but I do now. And I've tried to teach my own children that when you've had a bath, clean it out for the next person, because you know what it's like when you go into a bathroom and there's that big grimy thing. I get out of the bath, I clean the bath. I go back for another bath, the grime is there. And I go through this kind of question. I'll say to my daughter, I said, do you have a bath? No, Daddy, I didn't. You didn't? No, I didn't. And I'll hear myself saying stupid things like, are you sure? And she said, yes, Daddy, I'm sure. I'm 22 years of age. I do know when I take my clothes off. I do know when the bath is full of water. I do know I am capable of recognizing these things. I haven't had a bath. I go to my son, have you had a bath? Mm. Three of us in the house, nobody's had a bath. Mr. Bloody Nobody lives in our house. Has a bath, makes hundreds of phone calls, empties the fridge and pisses off. And the great disappearing lavatory paper act. Have you ever come across that? Nobody uses lavatory paper. But it always goes. I've had my children for years. I brought them up and I'm saying to them, listen, let me explain. Let me explain just very simple physics. The physics of this. And when you take something away from something which is large, it diminishes. It gets smaller. Do you understand? And I have them all in the lavatory with me. And I'm saying, look, this is a lavatory roll. Look. And when I start to take bits of paper off, the big piece here begins to get smaller. And they're all saying, dickhead's off again. And I said, explain it. When you get to the end of it, you'll know there is no paper there, because there is a little cardboard roll. That means all the paper has gone. So when you see the roll, you get off your bum, go to the cupboard, and bring back another roll. Because no adult, when you go to the lab, you don't check to see that the paper is there, do you? And you never notice it's all gone until you've finished. Or they've left one sheet.